What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another one. And this one is, what is, or who is, the greatest comedian of all time, plus, that's alive today, plus the top 10 list of greatest comedians of all time. Now, I apologize for all the problems, technical difficulties I've had to get this stream up and going. And I'm sure even if there's people probably that doesn't get a chance to watch this live or anything like that, hopefully you get to watch it later. Everything is messed up. I think my camera, everything is messed up. Windows just updated on its own. Stupid ass Windows. Why would you do that? I have no idea. But what up to everybody in the chat? I don't have a chance to take a look at it right now, but let me go over there right now. You give me 1 second to pull up the chat so I can take a look and see what's going on over there. Make sure that this is muted too. And pause. All right. Pause. All right. Jesus, it takes everything just to get up in this piece to get it going. So what is the deal, my people? How's everything? What up to everybody out there chilling in the chat with me? What up to Cheryl? What up to Michelle Young? What up to Shannon? What up to John? What up to Southeast 101? What up to Pooh Bear? What up to Brian? What up to Jay Cruz? What up to OTDA? What up to all y'all out there? Now, this video that I'm doing right now is 100% dedicated, being done because of my man Phil the Issue, guys. He did a top 10 comedian list, and I liked it a lot. I loved the list that he came up with. But while I was watching with his list, I just didn't agree with the position of a lot of people that he had on the list, myself particularly, you know. So I'm going to give you my list of who I think is going to be better and stuff like that, who should be on my list, right? So hopefully everything is good and y'all seeing everything clearly and everything else like that. All right, now when trying to come up with this list, I realized that there is no right or wrong list, and it's just so many people. It's so hard to do. It's so many people that there's no really a good top 10 list. You know what I mean? Anyone could be in there. You could these 10 people could be rearranged and put a different way. So what I'm gonna do right now, before we get rolling here with this top 10, right? Before we get rolling here, everything seems to be cool right on that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play something real quick, and hopefully you can hear it, and then you can tell me if this the level check is good. All right, so we'll play something real quick. This is not part of the top 10 list. This is just something to warm it up to see if the level is good and you can hear it.
Oh, Miss Muffet sat on a tuffle, eating a curdsome wing. Long came a Spidey, sat down beside, he said, "Hey, what's in the bowl, bitch?" Oh! Went up to help both with $1.25. Joe came down with $2.50. Oh! That fucking whore. Little boy Blue, he needed the money. Oh! Treat blind mice, see how they run. Where the fuck are they going? Was was an old lady, lived in a shoe. She had so many kids, the uterus fell out. Oh, you're unbelievable. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, trim that pussy. It's so damn. She bent over, took over. Oh! Exactly. You know, that's pretty good. I fucked the...
Right there's a little Andrew Dice Clay. You say that the levels are checked out now. People like Andrew Dice Clay, what a great comic he was, and he still is, or whatever, you know what I mean? But people like that, Larry the Cable Guy, because there's a difference between being a great comic and having a great run. And I think he had a great run more than he was a great comic, even though I do like a lot of the stuff that he came out with, without a doubt. So first, we're going to give a couple of honorable mentions. Now, I don't have a lot of women on my list, and I think that's mostly due to the chance that women were given out there. So first, we're going to go back to one of the pioneers for women who came out there and blazed the trails for women. And if there wasn't this woman in comedy, there wouldn't be women in comedy. This was someone who knew how to make fun of herself, someone who wasn't good looking at all, and still got out there and did her thing. And she was in the lines of Maze Mobley. And this is the one true, the legendary Phyllis Diller.
Wonderful. They drive me crazy. They're all blondes and everyone's almost as beautiful as I am. Especially Albino. But you know, I haven't given up. I know you look at me, you think I've given up. I have not. I was today at the beauty parlor 4 times. They wouldn't let me in. Makes me so mad. I confronted him today. I said, look, you've been putting all this expensive stuff on my face all these years. Why don't I get better looking? He said, you've built up an immunity. I am in the 14th year of a 10-day beauty plan. I slosh so much cream on my body and all over at night I have to wear snow chains to hold up my gown. We've got more grease stains in our bedroom than in the garage. I asked Fang to kiss me goodnight the other night. He got up and put on his work clothes. And then one night he surprised me. He wanted to kiss me. I found out later why. He had chapped lips. Oh, I will not give up. When I go to the scalp clinic, I'm going to try to grow some lovely hair, too. I told him I just wanted beautiful hair. They said, stay on your head. So for months, I stood on my head. You know what I got? Dandruff on my feet. Ridiculous. And now my life is beginning to be complicated by old age. I had no idea it starts so young. Would you believe I've got tired blood? Some mornings I'm up for hours before my blood. The other day I got up, one hand was asleep. I had to go back to bed till it woke up. And I've got a body that just won't start. I'm in such bad shape I wear prescription underwear. Tonight I am wearing suppos clear to my neck. And you get dry and brittle when you get old. My skin is so dry I've been declared a fire hazard. Talk about brittle, I had to give up exercising altogether. I can't stand the noise. My feet hurt so bad. I soaked them in ivy leaves and vinegar. Now I not only have corns, I've got a vine growing out of my big toe. And I'm turning gray. Not my hair, my skin. And I'm nothing but a mass of spare parts. In the morning, I don't get dressed, I get assembled. Just got my armpits dry, now my elbows leak. And my G-string is clear down to D-flat. But you realize this is not my own chest. This is a transplant. I think it's somebody's back. Oh, dear, oh, dear. But now I'm not knocking old age. You understand. I think it's a beautiful thing. I hope to live to be 100. I don't think think people expect so darn much of you at that age. When they start bossing you around, I bet you could look them right in the eye and say, I'm pooped. And if I make it, I know exactly how I'm going to play it. I'm going to be a sweet, innocent, little white-haired old lady with a cane full of gin. How would you stay sweet any other way at that age? And I may make it. My grandfather's 105. Of course, he's been dead for 20.
And that is Phyllis Diller. I love Phyllis Diller. I know probably people don't know who Phyllis Diller is or who she was at the time, because Phyllis Diller, you know, it was a while back when she was out there. That was like 1968 and everything else. But Phyllis Diller definitely blazed a trail for everybody out there, without a doubt. You know what I mean? So let's go to the next person that we have up, and we're going to, this is just some honorable mentions that we're going through right now before we get to the actual list and go through the list real quick. So we have another honorable mention that's going to go down right here, and this is a lady that I just think she's hilarious, and she also blazed trails for other ladies and other women comedians. I think she's probably one of the most funniest ladies out there, not just ladies, but comedians out there right now. So let's give it up for my girl, Monique.
You're in the bed with your man. Y'all doing your shit. That's called the slow roll. Then you tell him. You say, come on, baby, come on. They only start funny. And he gonna get a little nervous. Look, hold up. I ain't into that faggoty bullshit. I don't play that nasty shit. Oh, nigga, I just wanna rub your neck. Yeah. Then you gotta kiss him gently on the neck. You gotta break him down because he's a little tensed up. Yeah. Now begin to work your way down. Now when you get to the middle of his back, sisters, he's gonna get a little nervous again. Look, hold up. Don't make me rip your ass up in here. Don't play that faggot and punk bullshit. I know, Daddy, I know. Keep on going, sisters. Now when you get to the crack of his ass, watch him. He gonna try to hold on to his manhood, but that bitch gonna twinkle right out his ass, baby. Give him one good kiss on the crack of that ass and watch that nigga break down. Look. Don't tell nobody here.
Hell, what a crowd.
Don't tell nobody here. Oh my God. I love Monique. I love me some Monique. Without a doubt, I think that she is one of the greatest comedians out there. You know, I love Lisa Lampanelli. I love some more. I love a lot of the female comics out there and stuff, without a doubt, you know what I mean? But I love me some Monique. I probably like Monique more than any of them. I just think that she's hilarious. I love her. I hate the things that have happened to her since she's won that Oscar and stuff, but it is what it is. So we are going to go right now to number 10. And the way I see it's like this. When you get to the end of comedy, have a voice that is recognizable, that nobody has to say your name, that if I just play this clip, you know who I'm talking about before I say this person's name. That is what it means to be in the top 10. And as I said, it's so hard that these top 10 people, who you could put so many people in there. But as I said, I'm trying to go by careers, not just good runs, but good whole top to bottom careers. There's a lot of guys who had a lot of epic runs, but we're going by the careers right here, right? So this is what we're going to do with the careers right now. So number 10 in my list of the greatest comedians of all time. This is a man who is great with the one-liners and just a classic guy. Had a couple of hit movies, was a little bit, played his era very well, but was able to go from his era, still doing his old stuff, and move it to a newer era and just refine the jokes. And this is number 10.
What a crowd, what a crowd. I'll tell you more right now, but last week I was in rough shape, you know? Last week I found out my inflatable doll is a lesbian. Now, last week was rough. The last week, 4 of my checks came back, my arthritis came back, and my wife came back. Yeah, my wife and I, we don't think alike, you know? Like, I like to have sex when I come home from work. She likes to have sex when I'm at work. And I tell you, my wife's no beauty either. We got married, I said I do. The guy looked at me, he said, you do? I tell you, my wife, she's never nice, you know? The other night, she told me you can kiss my ass. When I made my move, she changed her mind. That's the story of my life. No respect. I don't get no respect at all. No respect at all. I tell you, it's the same thing when I was a kid. No respect. I had to get my mother drunk to breastfeed me.
Welcome back.
I forgot to pick my socks up. Remember when they told me meet this couch?
Yeah, well, we're not cable.
Yeah, what?
Now, you going back to the MGM Grand? You
Yeah, back there. I used to open it August 31st. I like it. They treat me right. They're nice. Treat you good? They work there, you know. They're nice people.
Nice.
You know, and hey, I met someone up there a few weeks ago. Yeah. I was in the men's room. You know, a guy came rushing in. He took the urinal right next to me. Shaq O'Neal, you know. He went, oh, I just made it. I said to him, Shaq, do me a favor, will you? Can you make me one just like it in white?
That is late great Rodney Dangerfield. What can you say about Rodney? One of the greatest comedians of all time, master of the one-liners. And when you look at comedy, if you take all these comedians that I have on this list right here, all of them, you take them all and you put them on a show, joke for joke, it's a very good chance that Rodney Dangerfield could get more laughs than all of them, because when you do the one-liners, the setup is so small because the setup is so quick with them that they just keep coming flying right out. Now, a lot of these other people here, when they do jokes, they have to set them up. It takes a while for them to set them up, you know? So he didn't have a lot of setup. It was just bang, 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 bang. And that's what made him so great. So we are going to go from that right there to our next person. The next person, number 9 in this list, is a controversy now because of the things that's been in the news about him. But you have to give the man his props for what he did for comedy, for stand-up comedy, for comedians all over, across the racial lines. This is a person who was able to sit down and do a comedy show, sit down the whole time, and do a comedy show while sitting down and still be funny. Not many people could pull that off. And this is number 9 in the top 10 comedians of all time.
Today's only Thursday, for crying out loud. Thursday. You gotta wait till Friday. It's always strange. I've had a lot of people work for me, and I found out it's a funny thing that they give them Saturday and Sunday off, and they work so hard to get to those 2 days, And those are the 2 days that they totally destroy themselves. I mean, you know, you think to yourself, you say, my goodness, I've really pounded these people and worked them to death. And Friday comes and they say, yeah! And then they come in Monday. So, boy, am I glad to be back here. I'm no good on my own. I was given 2 whole days and I just went crazy. Yeah. I don't know where you get these people from. Sometimes I think it's drugs. It's got to be drugs, because people on pure air don't worry about things like that. You know, the drugs, I think drugs make people sort of, you know, they get like, I've seen them, you know, they take it, you know, and they have to hold it in, see? See, that's the problem with smoking. You have to look. Now, your body doesn't want it, so it starts to kick it out, whether you want to hold it or not, so you begin to... Now, the best part about drugs is that while you're doing that, the person sitting next to you is going, hey, man, pass that over. Then the people get stoned. Now, this is the fun part of getting, they get stoned, then they become paranoid. Now, when they started out, they said, let's get high and have fun. So they're high, now they're paranoid. Am I falling out of this chair? Then I've known people who've gotten stoned and they start to laugh and nobody knows what they're laughing at. You know, they just... No, wait a minute, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. I went over to the... No, wait a minute. I went over to the Burger King. And so the guy took a piece of meat and threw it on the grill. I said, oh, wow.
And that is the great Bill Cosby. As I said, to be on this list, you have to have a voice that everyone knows. You have to be that is what makes you a great comedian. That is one of the things that helps make you a great comedian. So I love Bill Cosby. You know what I mean? I thought he did a great job right there. You know what I mean? I see a couple of people saying that they think that he's good, but not in the top 10. As I said, the top 10 is anyone. You know, it could be. I think when it comes down to comedy, the number one thing you have to do with comedy is it's relatability. You have to be able to relate to the jokes that the person is saying. So if that person is saying jokes you don't relate to, then you're not going to find that funny. So all the people that are on my list mostly say things to comics, to things that I relate to. That's why they're on my list. What up to my girl AK47 out there? Thank you for coming out. What up to Femme Fatale? And let's go right to the next person right here. You know what I mean? We're going to go down. Now this person, not only I think when you have a when you start that coming down right now, this person right here, I do believe has you have to be able to have a great TV show. That helps. You know what I mean? You have to make it on TV. You have to make it in the movies. You have to make it on stand-up. And your jokes have to be jokes. To be the greatest comic of all time, to be one of the greatest top 10 comedians, you have to have that. Without a doubt, you know what I mean? So this person, without a doubt, has that. And this is my number 8 person on the top 10 comedians of all time. No, are we on number 8? Yes, we are. Number 8. Here we go.
What's up? Make some noise. Yes. Thank y'all for coming out tonight in the house. Hey, my man, Derek Coleman, ladies and gentlemen, from New Jersey Nets and T Mills. What's up? What's up, D? D! 6'10", Derek. Nah, man, I love you, man. It's my brother, man, Derek Coleman. $3 million a year, huh? Hey, you ain't had to rap the girls, though. You just walk up like this, hey, 3 mil. Where you live at? Which way you go? Okay, I can buy my own car. I'll meet you there. That's good, man. Love you, though, bro. Oh, my man, Ed Lover, MTV. What's up, man? Give that a round of applause. And Todd won. What's up, Todd? Yeah, with MTV. Todd won. You know who Todd Girl is, right? MC Light. And guess what? He got a tattoo on his chest, got MC Light on this shit. And I used to fuck her. Hey, believe me, there's a lot of light at the end of that tunnel, Man, you want to still fuck with me? Nah, he messed with me all night, but you my man. Welcome. Thank y'all for coming. We also got some other people in the house. I'd like to acknowledge Lawrence Taylor and Ice-T. And Ice-T, yeah. Now, what's up? Now, hold on. What's up? LT, right? And Ice-T. What, man? What's up? Y'all got the same mother? What's up, man? What is she, an albino linebacker? You you better fuck me up too, man. Cause you endogenous shit. I just play. See? Just fuck that, LT. We boys. He looking at me like that. I just play, right? I'm just fucking with everybody. That's your lady right there? That's your lady. Hey, how you doing? I was nervous. That's a lot of hair weave there, you know. There's a bull horse in Central Park.
Word up. How you not going to give it up for my man Martin Lawrence coming into that spot right up in that piece? You know, I love Martin. Listen, people you can hate and people can hate and they can say whatever they want to say, but I'm telling you, if we're going joke for joke, how you gonna fuck with motherfucking Martin Lawrence? Tell me. How is that possible? Martin Lawrence, he gets not a lot of respect like Rodney Dangerfield. No respect going for Martin, but all that you just heard, that was all freestyle. All freestyle. That was him just hosting the show. That wasn't even a routine. He just came off the dome and ate those dudes alive because they was in the crowd. That's why Martin Lawrence is just great. I love Martin Lawrence. As I said, you gotta have you have to have a voice. You have to have that stands out. You have to have something that top 10 you bring to the table. He changed the game, Martin Lawrence. All this stuff changed the game. What up to my man Phil, the issues guy? And as I said, this is the same thing, just like Phil did his top 10. And what I would hope to do is that maybe if we have the same top 10 people that link up, we'll eliminate those guys, and the people that don't link up, me and Phil could have a battle off and put their jokes together and see who's funnier out of those people. And so that would be a great show. Hopefully we get to that. But that was now this that was my number 8, Martin Lawrence. Now coming to number 7. I know this is going to be very controversial. I do. And I think this man is extremely funny. If you're on the top 10, you are extremely funny. There's top 10 of all time. Comedy's been going on since Court Jesters, right? So if you can make it right here to the top 10, then you're extremely funny, without a doubt. You know what I mean? So this guy is extremely funny, but the reason why, I'll talk about the reason why he's on this list right here. And listen, if anyone has him higher on their list, I'm not going to debate with you and tell you that he shouldn't be higher in your list. But as I said before, it comes to relatability a lot of times when you're dealing with comics. A lot of stuff he has I can relate to, and a lot of things I can't. So that's why he is at this part in the list. But I put him here at number 7. Greatest comic of all time is
Mark Twain once said, "A man who always tells the truth doesn't have to remember what he said." And that's great. But Mark Twain also said there once was a big black guy named Nigger Jim. So I don't know if 100% of the things he said were perfectly awesome. Really, Mark, Nigger Jim, you're going to go with, that's the best you could do to name the, yeah, kind of a nice ring to it, Nigger Jim. Yeah, well, it's a little on the nose, isn't it? Could have called him Black Mike. I mean, just a little, take it down one notch. Thanks for that, Mark. Anyway, so while we're in this area, now that I know you guys are cool, this is a story that takes place. I'm going to tell you the story. It's kind of a messy story. It takes place over a lot of years because it started with my friend Mike, who told me this story. This happened to him back in the 90s. He was going home for Christmas, and he lives in Connecticut. He grew up in Connecticut in some shit town in shitty Connecticut. And he didn't like going home. He's one of those people, he came from a place, doesn't like it anymore. And he goes back, he doesn't know how to handle his family, you know, and he came from a family of white racists that he doesn't like going home, but it's still home. So he went home for Christmas one year, and everybody's hanging out during the day, talking, having lunch, and his father and his brother both work at this factory, and his brother's grousing about his day at work, and he goes, yeah, and then this fucking nigger fell asleep with the forklift. And then my friend Mike heard that, and he went, oh, God, why am I part of this people? I hate this. And he felt bad. And then that night, he's in the kitchen, and he's having a warm milk or whatever. And I don't know why that's funny, but what that says about him. Yeah, because he's a pussy. He's just sort of having some time to himself, and his cousin comes downstairs. We're staying, and his cousin, he likes his cousin. That's the one person he always felt connected with. And his cousin's like, what's wrong, man? And he says, well, geez, I come home, and I hope that everything would be, you know, normal. But then my brother says, oh, he's about the factory, and his nigger fell asleep at the forklift. And his cousin goes, "Oh my God, the nigger fell asleep with the forklift." So this is the first part of the story, okay? So Mike tells me that story about how he's just not listened to by anybody in his family. And then later on, I get a job writing on a TV show for Cedric the Entertainer. Great guy. And he had a show, and he hired a writing staff, half white writers, half black writers. So at lunchtime, we talked about race. It was just, we'd have these provocative, interesting conversations, trading notes about race, the white writers and the black writers. And I told that story. I told the whole thing about the guy, nigger the forklift, and then the cousin saying, nigger the forklift. And then one of the writers, a black writer, he goes, "This is nothing worse than the nigger falling asleep in the forklift." Making it harder for the rest of us. Still, nobody's quite hearing what my friend was going through. And then, about a year later, I'm hanging out with my friend Dino. Dino's Greek. He has no dog in the race. He doesn't care either way. He's Greek. Greeks aren't white or black. He's just got a big nose. He just stands there. I told Dino the whole story. I told him about the guy, and then the black writer, and then Dino says, "How do you fall asleep with a forklift?"
And that is the great Louis C.K. I love this dude. You listen, I love him. I love his show when he had his own show, Life with Louis on HBO. What's it, Life with Louis? I forgot the name of it, but I guess with the little girl and all that. I love that show. He's a great writer. But as I can see, as when I look at some people's comments here in the chat right here, and I look at some people don't know that he is his voice. They didn't know that was him. And that's what I'm saying. When you imitate, you should have. Now, me, if I hear his voice, I know it's him. But you should be able to get it, boom, just like that. You know what I mean? And that is what's up. We're going to go to the chat real quick. I'm going to answer some questions. People ask, Tony Teflon Slope asks, "Tony, what watch are you wearing?" This is the digital Hayua watch. That is what that is. That's just a watch face that I put on there. I got like 50 billion watch faces that I put on there. You know what I mean? Got Game of Thrones watch faces, all that and stuff like that. But this is my super sexy one. I love this one of the most. You know what I mean? I wear that a lot and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We are talking right now. I love to talk a little Game of Thrones. Maybe we'll do that at the end. But right now we're going through the list. You know what I mean? So right now at this list, we're on number 6 on this list. Louis C.K. was great. Number 7. Now listen, number 6. This man right here. I love this man. This man passed away too early. What a great comedian. And when we're talking comedy, facial comedy. Now, sometimes you have to have a special face that could do certain things to have facial comedy. But facial comedy, this man had it. He had such great facial skills. And I'm so happy that people at least got the chance to recognize his skill later on in life. And he did make it before he did pass away. But this is number 6 in the greatest comedians of all time, top 10. My man.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I'm gonna tell you something straight off the motherfucking press. I ain't coming for no foolishness. In New York, goddammit, y'all motherfucking women look good. Y'all like a bacon and egg sandwich look good. But I love sex. I love it. Can't do shit no more. And I'm blessed. I'm big boned. I'm heavy structured. I'm hung low. If I pull my shit out, this whole room get dark. You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I love sex, man. I love it by the pound. I be glad when they put that shit in cans. Can you imagine sex in cans? Motherfuckers be shoplifting and shit. Folks be playing ball, man. They
man, what you getting ready to do, man? I'm telling him, give me some respect and put something going in. Kick it! You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Women just do anything until you talk to any kind of way you want to talk to somebody. It don't make no motherfucking sense. I'm at a bar, minding my business, cooling out, just being cool, like I am, chilling. Woman gonna come to me. This she just asked you the goddamn thing she want to do. She said, Mac. I said, yeah, that's my name. She said, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. She says, does pussy taste like pumpkin pie? Made me mad as hell. Don't ask me no damn question like that. I ain't never had no pumpkin pie. You don't understand.
You don't understand, motherfucker.
Tired of this shit. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. When you make love to a black woman, I'm gonna tell you how you do it. You got to be good. I'm not talking about myself. But you know a fuck ain't number 50 pumps. Count it if you ain't got nothing to do. It ain't number 5 minutes, but the foreplay make it seem longer. But you get a woman, black woman, man, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't care how meek that woman is, how soft-spoken she is. If you're giving her the dick, whatever wrong with you, she gonna let you know. You can have a patch on your eye, your leg could be broke. If you get up there, she be like, whoa, shit, you patch-eye motherfucker. You broke leg son of a bitch. You know you in this motherfucker. Kick ass.
Kick ass, motherfucker.
You don't understand, goddamn. You know what's funny when you make love to a woman and she on top and the phone ring? That's some funny shit. When she on the phone ring, man, every time she be on the phone ring, go, ring, ring. You get cool and shit. Ring, baby, don't answer. Ring, I gotta answer. Ring, baby, don't answer. Ring, it might be a job. Ring. And every time, you know, she pick up the phone, start fiddle-faddling with, you know. When she pick it up every time she start to talk, give her the dick. She'll be like, hello. What I'm doing? This when you get what I'm doing? Oh, nice. But I love my black peoples. I'm gonna tell you something. We gotta stop the violence. We gotta vote. Stop the violence and vote. I did a show in Chicago. Stop this violence. I was in Chicago. I did a show for Cook County Jail. And you know, over 40% of the brothers in jail for nothing. And they had a little survey, a little panel thing. We got to ask the inmates questions, you know. So I asked them, man, I said, hey, my brother, what you here for? He said, nothing. Brothers got this thing about being a punk. What is a punk? I never did understand that for the sake of my life. He said, nothing. That's how long you here for? He said, ever? I know it's a long time. You take the 4 off that motherfucker. I said, man, so what you here for? I ain't no punk. I didn't tell on my boy. I said, what, you in jail for no motherfucker? No, you ain't no punk. You a new fool. I'll be damned if I serve time for any of you motherfuckers. I'll be in court just like this. Judge be like, who are you? I'll be like, punk. Your Honor, he killed that motherfucker. Shot him in the head 4 times, kicked him in the face. I tried to call you, but the line was missing.
That is the late great Bernie Mac, baby. Come on. Come on, that's Bernie Mac right there. How you ain't gonna say, listen, Bernie Mac, how you can't give him that spot right there? Number 6 of all time. I got to say that without a doubt, you know what I mean? Bernie Mac, without a goddamn doubt, has to be in this list. I love Bernie Mac. And I'm saying, and then when you see it, when you see the facial expressions that the man puts off too, you understand that Bernie Mac is just great. I love Bernie Mac. And that is the first half, basically, of this list that we have gone through right now. But Bernie Mac was a king. Michelle Young says Bernie Mac was king. Without a doubt, you know what I mean? We got a lot of smiley faces over here and laugh faces from Pooh Bear with me. And everyone is loving Bernie Mac without a doubt. So we will go to the next person. Now, the next person is very famous. And people may say that he's low here. But when you're talking greatest of all time, top 10, there's no space. There's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I want to put people in spots, I really do, but when I put them up against other people, and I'm going joke for joke, and I know that time that you came out with the jokes does matter. So I'm looking for a lot of people whose jokes are timeless. You know, so that's what I'm going for. A lot of people I listened to when I went through this list, I thought their jokes were funny, but they didn't stand the test of time. And, you know, times change, so jokes are going to change. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm looking for, someone who could actually do that. Plus, I'm talking about the famous voice that you know, as soon as you hear it, you know who this person is. So right now, number 5, halfway point, one of my favorite comedians of all time, could go down as, you know, higher on this list once his career's over. Still fairly young guy, but god damn it, man. How can't you love this motherfucker? I love this motherfucker. And this is number 5 for the top 10 greatest comedians of all time.
I have to say that kind of shit, man. It's what it is. They use the TV to program us from a young age. You ever watch like a cartoon that you used to watch when you were little as an adult? Shit is wild shit. Some wild shit. I mean, like I was with my nephew. We sitting there, we watching Pepe Le Pew, and I say to my nephew, I said, now pay attention to this guy because he's funny. I used to watch him when I was little. And we watched Pepe Le Pew, and I'm old now. I'm looking like, good God, what kind of fucking rapist is this guy? Like, take it easy. My nephew was sitting there cracking up. See, sometimes you gotta take the pussy like Pepe. Like, oh. I had to turn the channel real quick. I turned on Sesame Street. I said, oh, Sesame Street. This is much better because now he'll learn how to count and spell. But now I'm watching it as an adult and I realize Sesame Street teaches kids other things. It teaches kids how to judge people and label people. That's right. They got a character on there named Oscar. Treat this guy like shit the entire show. They judge him right in his face. Oscar, you are so mean. Isn't it, kids? Yeah, Oscar. You're a grouch. Bitch, I live in a fucking trash can. I'm the coolest motherfucker on Sesame Street. Nobody's helping me.
Nobody's helping me.
Step up on get together, grouch. Get a job, grouch. So don't even tell me how to get to Sesame Street.
Nobody's helping me.
I wouldn't go there if I knew the way. Who would want to live in a neighborhood like that? Fucking 6-foot pigeons walking around. An elephant that's a junkie. Hi, bird. Yeah, that's right, Snuffy. Hi, bird, I'm sick. I need some smack, bird. And Cookie Monster with his eyes popping out his head, screaming, cookie, 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 like, ugh. What kind of cookies are you talking about? Chocolate chips don't do that to people. And they had the nerve to put a pimp on there. They didn't come out and say he's a pimp, but I know a pimp when I see one. They call him the Count. Had a cake and everything. You're the same pimping, bitch. Where is my money? You've been late 4 times. I've been counting. How many times must I smack you before you act right? 1, 2, 2 smacks.
Oh, that is the great David Chappelle. Listen, when you come down, when you're talking about funniest man alive today, David Chappelle, listen, this whole list could be any way you want it to be. He could be the funniest man alive today. The reason why I don't have him there is because the other people above him just have more of a history. He's still building his history. So in the end, he could be the funniest man alive today, but that doesn't make you the greatest comedian of all time. You know what I mean? So he could be that, and he could be the greatest comedian of all time when it's all said and done. What up to my girl Timo 30? What up to my man Tony, Lord of the Last Hearth? What up to everybody out here chilling? You know, we doing this comedy. It's like the laugh. There's a lot of stuff going on. What up to Grand Swing? Rich Shatwell III. You know, there is so much craziness in this world. Only thing I like to do, I like to laugh. The only thing I like to do more than laugh is have sex. You know what I mean? If I'm fucking laughing and eating at the same time, that's my. I don't know if I ever. Yeah, I have. But that's when I'm at my most happiest, man. So let's laugh off a little bit. You know what I mean? And just chill here. But without a doubt, David Chappelle. Come on, people. David Chappelle. I can play a billion clips for you. I love David Chappelle. What a great, great comedian he is. Yeah, I be laughing when I'm having sex. You know, people take sex so goddamn seriously. You know what I mean? And sometimes you gotta laugh. You gotta tickle a foot. You gotta make a little joke. You gotta, you know, there's sounds that happen that are funny. I'll laugh in those situations. I don't give a fuck. I'll make a joke while I'm doing something. I play the bongos on your ass cheeks while I'm doing it. It's all about having a good time. That's what sex is supposed to be, a good time in the end. So why not have a good time? People take it so seriously. They're all worried about how they're going to perform and everything. I never worry about that. I'm just trying to have fun, and that's it, and making it enjoy his time. So thank you to Emma has joined us here. Thank you for Emma's being here. You know what I mean? Everybody else. Just gotta have a good time. That's what it's all about. What up to Dietrich Evans? You know what I mean? We're chilling here. We're doing this. So now we have come down to number 4. And number 4, you know, when you're reaching this point, number 4, when you get to the top 5, number 4, and you're reaching this point, you're talking about people that are almost on the genius level. I think you have to get to the top 3-ish to reach the genius level, comedian level. And the genius level is, to me, that's like Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, the Beatles, Madonna. I don't think anyone else in music history comes close to those people at their time when they were in their height. You know, so that's genius level stuff right there. So right now we're on the borderline of genius level stuff, and he may hit that genius level stuff. He may be there. But what I think, I'm going to give you a hint who my other people are. This guy, to me, is a combination of number 3 and number 2. And he pulls that combination off the best that I've ever seen anyone do it. And that is why he is number 4 in the top 10 greatest comedians of all time.
I don't know, man. World's nuts, man. It's all good for Clinton. Anytime something bad happens, good for Bill Clinton. Just get people off his ass. Stop thinking about me. Good. Kids got shot. Good. People not thinking about me. Ooh, tornadoes. Good. Whoa, people ain't thinking about me. Clinton damn near got impeached for what? Lied about a blowjob so his wife couldn't find out. Is that against the law? Do you need the Supreme Court for that one? You could have took that one to the People's Court. Could have took that one to Judge Judy.
did Clinton do? They was charging him with shit I didn't even know was crime. Like, oh, you got us some gifts. So what? He got us some gifts. That's his friend. You can't buy a friend a gift. Trying to get a job, you can't get your friend a job. See, 80% of people in this room got their job because a friend recommended it. It's against the law to get your friend a job. Shit, she blew him for a couple of months. The least he could do is give her a recommendation. The least he could do. I see, people, everybody expects this holy behavior because he's the president. Expect him to behave this holy way. He's just the president. He ain't Reverend Clinton. It ain't Pastor Clinton. It ain't Maharaja Clinton. It is just Bill Clinton. He's just a man. A man gonna be a man. A man is basically as faithful as his options. That's how faithful a man is. No more, no less. And you see all these fat Republican guys going, I would never do such a thing. This is a travesty. I'm like, nobody's trying to blow you. Ain't no 20-year-old girls trying to blow orange hats. Nobody trying to get Newt Gingrich some. I don't give a fuck. You ain't never gonna hear Newt Gingrich go, man, I wish these hoes would back up all I wish they would just back the fuck up.
Oh my God, I almost died. I almost died right there, people. Sorry. You ever see the death of Tony Teflon?
That's right, man. That's right. See, now this whole Monica Lewinsky scandal, a lot of this shit is Hillary's fault. That's right. I said it. It had to be said. Somebody got to say it. And oh, Hillary's a hero. Hillary's a hero. No, she ain't. Aquaman's a hero. He can talk to the fishes. What the fuck can Hillary do? A lot of this shit is Hillary's fault. Because ladies, you know your man. You know your man better than he knows himself. You know what kind of man you got. You know if you got the craze and need a blowjob all the time, man. It's like sometimes you got to save your man from himself. So you know what happens if he don't get his medicine. So Hillary Clinton put us all in danger. She put the security of the free world in jeopardy, and she needs to suffer the consequences for her actions. That's right. She the first lady. She's supposed to be the first one on her knees to suck his dick.
First one, goddamn it. Get down there, Hillary. Do your job.
That's right. Monica Lewinsky shouldn't even have stood a chance. Hillary's supposed to already be down there like, hey, I got it. I got it. I got the thing. Tickle his ass or something. Tickle his ass. Yeah, grab a ball. Make yourself useful.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. That is Chris Rock. You know what it is. You know what I mean? What a great, oh my God. Listen, Chris Rock. What is that to say about him? He is just great. You know what I mean? He did his thing. You know what I mean? And he came out of nowhere when he did his thing. That's the whole thing. You know, he was always there and stuff like that. But when Big and Black and all that came out, that just popped out of nowhere. He found his stride. He found it. He found who he was, and he did it. And as I said, he is the combination of number 3 and number 2. And when you hear a lot of things going on with Chris Rock, he's really political, you know. And I just think that he is great. He does his job. And this guy, number 3, is an extremely smart individual. I think that if he wasn't a comedian, he'd probably be like a philosopher. And he should be probably hailed as one, in all honesty. If you want to hail Bruce Lee as a philosopher, which people do hail Bruce Lee as a philosopher because he's written so many great things, this man possibly could be that too. Now, this guy, as I said before, when we talk about Rodney Dangerfield, one-liners, his setup was very quick. This guy's jokes a lot of times took a lot to get to, but he was so good that he was able to keep you going and keep you going on until he got to that point. So that is why I have no choice but to make this person my number 3 greatest comedian of all time. And we're going to listen to his set so that we understand exactly how he gets to his jokes and everything else. But this is my number 3 greatest comedian of all time. While I go and refresh my drink at some point during this video, I'm going to do that during this presentation. It's my privilege to give to you number 3.
But in the bullshit department, a businessman can't hold a candle to a clergyman. Because I got to tell you the truth, folks. I got to tell you the truth. When it comes to bullshit, big time, major league bullshit, you have to stand in awe of the all-time champion of false promises and exaggerated claims, religion. No contest. No contest. Religion easily has the greatest bullshit story ever told. Think about it. Religion has actually convinced people that there's an invisible man living in the sky who watches everything you do every minute of every day. And the invisible man has a special list of 10 things he does not want you to do. And if you do any of these 10 things, he has a special place full of fire and smoke and burning and torture and anguish, where he will send you to live and suffer and burn and choke and scream and cry forever and ever till the end of time. But he loves you. He loves you. He loves you, and he needs money. He always needs money. He's all powerful, all perfect, all knowing, and all wise. Somehow, just can't handle money. Religion takes in billions of dollars. They pay no taxes, and they always need a little more. Now, you talk about a good bullshit story. Holy shit. But, thank you very much. But I want you to know something. This is sincere. I want you to know, when it comes to believing in God, I really tried. I really, really tried. I tried to believe that there is a God who created each of us in his own image and likeness, loves us very much, and keeps a close eye on things. I really tried to believe that, but I got to tell you, the longer you live, the more you look around, the more you realize something is fucked up. Something is wrong here. War, disease, death, destruction, hunger, filth, poverty, torture, crime, corruption, and the ice capades. Something is definitely wrong. This is not good work. If this is the best God can do, I am not impressed. Results like these do not belong on the resume of a supreme being. This is the kind of shit you'd expect from an office temp with a bad attitude. And just between you and me, in any decently run universe, this guy would have been out on his all-powerful ass a long time ago. And by the way, I say this guy because I firmly believe, looking at these results, that if there is a God, it has to be a man. No woman could or would ever fuck things up like this. If there is a God, I think most reasonable people might agree that he's at least incompetent and maybe just maybe, doesn't give a shit. Doesn't give a shit, which I admire in a person and which would explain a lot of these bad results. So rather than be just another mindless religious robot, mindlessly and aimlessly and blindly believing that all of this is in the hands of some spooky, incompetent father figure who doesn't give a shit, I decided to look around for something else to worship, something I could really count on. And immediately I thought of the sun. Happened like that. Overnight, I became a sun worshiper. Well, not overnight, you can't see the sun at night. The first thing the next morning, I became a sun worshiper. Several reasons. First of all, I can see the sun, okay? Yeah. Unlike some other gods I could mention, I can actually see the sun. I'm big on that. If I can see something, I don't know, kind of helps the credibility along, you know? So every day I can see the sun as it gives me everything I need: heat, light, food, flowers in the park, reflections on the lake, an occasional skin cancer. But hey, at least there are no crucifixions, and we're not setting people on fire simply because they don't agree with us. Sun worship is fairly simple. There's no mystery, no miracles, no pageantry. No one asks for money. There are no songs to learn, and we don't have a special building where we all gather once a week to compare clothing. And the best thing about the sun, it never tells me I'm unworthy. Doesn't tell me I'm a bad person who needs to be saved. Hadn't said an unkind word. Treats me fine. So I worship the sun, but I don't pray to the sun. Know why? I wouldn't presume on our friendship. It's not polite. I've often thought people treat God rather rudely, don't you? Asking, trillions and trillions of prayers every day, asking and pleading and begging for favors. Do this, give me that, I need a new car, I want a better job. And most of this praying takes place on Sunday, his day off. It's not nice, and it's no way to treat a friend. But people do pray, and they pray for a lot of different things. You know, your sister needs an operation on her crotch. Your brother was arrested for defecating in a mall. But most of all, you'd really like to fuck that hot little redhead down at the convenience store. You know, the one with the eye patch and the club foot. Can you pray for that? I think you'd have to. And I say, fine, pray for anything you want. Pray for anything. But what about the divine plan? Remember that? The divine plan. Long time ago, God made a divine plan, gave it a lot of thought, decided it was a good plan, put it into practice. And for billions and billions of years, the divine plan has been doing just fine. Now you come along and pray for something. Well, suppose the thing you want isn't in God's divine plan. What do you want him to do? Change his plan? Just for you? Doesn't it seem a little arrogant? It's a divine plan. What's the use of being God if every rundown schmuck with a $2 prayer book can come along and fuck up your plan? And here's something else, another problem you might have. Suppose your prayers aren't answered. What do you say? Well, it's God's will. Thy will be done. Fine, but if it's God's will and he's going to do what he wants to anyway, why the fuck bother praying in the first place? Seems like a big waste of time to me. Couldn't you just skip the praying part and go right to his will? It's all very confusing. So to get around a lot of this, I decided to worship the sun. But as I said, I don't pray to the sun. You know who I pray to? Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci. 2 reasons. First of all, I think he's a good actor, okay? To me, that counts. Second, he looks like a guy who can get things done. Joe Pesci doesn't fuck around. Doesn't fuck around. In fact, Joe Pesci came through on a couple of things that God was having trouble with. For years, I asked God to do something about my noisy neighbor with the barking dog. Joe Pesci straightened that cocksucker out with 1 visit. It's amazing what you can accomplish with a simple baseball bat. So I've been praying to Joe for about a year now. And I noticed something. I noticed that all the prayers I used to offer to God and all the prayers I now offer to Joe Pesci are being answered at about the same 50% rate. Half the time I get what I want, half the time I don't. Same as God, 50-50. Same as the 4-leaf clover and the horseshoe, the wishing well and the rabbit's foot. Same as the mojo man. Same as the voodoo lady who tells you your fortune by squeezing the goat's testicles. It's all the same, 50-50. So just pick your superstition, sit back, make a wish, and enjoy yourself. And for those of you who look to the Bible for moral lessons and literary qualities, I might suggest a couple of other stories for you. You might want to look at The Three Little Pigs. That's a good one. Has a nice, happy ending. I'm sure you'll like that. Then there's Little Red Riding Hood, although it does have that X-rated part where the big bad wolf actually eats the grandmother, which I didn't care for, by the way. And finally, I've always drawn a great deal of moral comfort from Humpty Dumpty. The part I like the best, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. That's because there is no Humpty Dumpty and there is no God. None, not one, no God, never was. In fact, I'm gonna put it this way. If there is a God, may he strike this audience dead. See, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Everybody's okay. All right? Tell you what. I'll raise the stakes. I'll raise the stakes a little bit. If there is a God, may he strike me dead. See? Nothing happened. Oh, wait. Got a little cramp in my leg.
Listen, the man is great. And as I said, when you reach this level, when you reach top 3, we're talking about genius level. Genius. This is a genius that walked among us. This guy was so ahead of his time. And when you look at the top 3 that I have here, that's what you're going to really see. You're going to see people that are way ahead of their time. People that in any, doesn't matter what time you put them in. If you put them in, and I heard Phil say this, so let me give Phil the props. And as I said before, the link will be in the description. If you put any of these top 3 in any place of any time period, they will tear it down to any audience without a doubt. And that's what makes these top 3 so great, without a doubt. I just can't think of anyone else who can make this top 3 other than these people. If anyone else does have a different opinion, please put in the comment section. Listen, so many honorable mentions have to go out that I have that it would take forever. You know, Robin Harris could be. There's so many people that could be here. And he deserves to be in the top 10, quite possibly, but who can you take out to put him in there? That's the problem. It's just like NBA with point guards. Who's the greatest point guard of all time? Who's the greatest shooting guard of all time? Who's the greatest NBA player of all time? These are things that you just can't. It's too many players, too many positions, too many things. It's hard to pick. So that's why when we deal with these next top 2, I'm going to play 2 clips from them because they deserve the top 2. This guy right here. Now, I heard him mentioned on Phil's team when he did his show about this, and a lot of people didn't say, "Oh, he doesn't stand the test of time," which is not true. He stands the test of time 100%. So I found some clips to let you know exactly how great this man is, and people have patterned their stand-up after him. If he should be number 1, if you want to put him number 1, you can. If you want to put him number 2, you can. It doesn't matter. He's got to be in one of those spots, period. No matter who you have, he is probably the only person that can't be debated about that it's either 1 or 2. Now, the person that have 1, you may say he's not 1. You may say, but this person that I'm putting here is either in anybody's list, comedian's list. It's either going to be 1 or 2 in their list. And this man is phenomenal. He's great. When we're talking about comedy is also acting. One of the greatest forms of acting of all is comedy. If you're a diesel person, like a really muscular person, you want to be an action star in Hollywood, the number 1 thing you can do to become that, to promote yourself, is to have good comedy timing. That is what it's all about, comedic timing. If you're big, Diesel, The Rock only got popular when he went on Saturday Night Live and they seen he had that timing. John Cena's popular because he has it. David Bautista is popular because they seen he had it in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Arnold Schwarzenegger was always good at the one-liners. This is what you need. That's the most important part you have. acting is comedy. It doesn't get recognized by the Academy Awards, but that's what it's all about. This person hit movies, stand up. And I think that a lot of times it comes down to what happened in your life to make you that comic, especially when it comes to singing too. People who write songs have a lot of tragedy in life. And this man had a lot of tragedy in his life. And that's why he was so great. And this is number 2, but if he's your number 1, then he can be. And I 100% understand it. But this is number 2. If someone says he's not relevant today, his words wouldn't stand up today, his stuff is not funny today, I beg to differ 100%. He is funny anytime, anywhere. Number 2.
Cops put a hurting on your ass, man. You know, they really degrade you. White folks don't believe that shit. Don't believe cops degrade. Oh, come on. Those beatings, those people are resisting arrest. I'm tired of this harassment of police officers. Because the police live in your neighborhood, see? And you be knowing them as Officer Timpson. Hello, Officer Timpson. Going bowling tonight? Yes, nice pinto you have. Niggas don't know them like that. See, white folks get a ticket, they pull over. Hey, officer, yes, glad to be of help. Nigga got to be talking about, I am reaching into my pocket for my license. Because I don't want to be no motherfucking accident. Police degrade, I don't know, you know, it's awful. You wonder why a nigga don't go completely mad. No, you do. You get your shit together, you work all week, right? And then you get dressed, you may say can't make $125, we get $80 if he's lucky. Right, and he go out, get clean, be driving with his old lady, going out to a club, and police pull over. Get out of the car, that was a robbery, nigga look just like you. All right, put your hands up, take your pants down, spread your cheeks. Now, what nigga feel like having fun after that?
When the police came, I went in the house because they got magnums too, and they don't kill cars, they kill niggas.
Penitentiary. Gene Wilder, I did a movie. I went to, not me personally. I mean, I went to do a film in penitentiary. And I was up there 6 weeks, Arizona State Penitentiary. It was something. Oh, you applauding for that? Arizona State Penitentiary, real popular. Oh man, it was strange because it's like 80% black people. And what's strange about that is that there are no black people in Arizona. I'm not lying, they bust motherfuckers in. And I was up there and I looked at all the brothers and it made my heart ache. You know, it's all these beautiful black men in the joint. God damn, warriors should be out there helping the masses. And I felt that way. I was real naive, right? In 6 weeks I was up there, I talked to the brothers, you know, and I talked to them. Thank God we got penitentiaries. I asked them, I said, why did you kill everybody in the house? Because they was home. I mean, murderers. Did you hear me? Real live murderers. I thought black people killed people by accident. No, these motherfuckers was murderers. I met one brother, his name was J-Bo. Motherfucker lift weights, he was in charge of it. J-Bo, muscles every motherfucker. Where's my man? Muscle. He was doing a sentence, triple life. How in the fuck do you do triple life? I mean, if he died and come back, he got to go to penitentiary. Right?
They say, fuck kindergarten. Get your little ass back in the penitentiary. You know what you did last time you was here.
Gene Wilder loved to jump in the middle of the killers and start talking. Hi, guys. How you doing? I said, Gene, bring your ass out. What do you think they do to us if we were here, Rich? You say, fuck us. Gene said, I'm not homosexual. Homosexual ain't got nothing to do with it. They don't fuck you because you like it. They just fuck you just to see that look on your face. One dude kidnapped, murdered 4 times. And I thought 3 times that was your ass, right? No. I said, what happened? I can't get your shit right. But I'm getting parole in 2 years, Brother Rich. I'm on fire.
Okay, so you know what I mean?
Let's see. Yeah, I know what you mean. See, I want to know when this motherfucker getting out, who he gonna be with, and if I see him in my neighborhood, I'm just gonna shoot the
motherfucker. That is the late great Richard Pryor. Listen, man, come on! Did you hear what he said when he told people, listen to them jokes? I'm gonna break it down to you like this. If you heard the joke the man said about being put up against the wall with the ass cheek spread? David Chappelle said a joke just about similar to that. Where do you think he got that joke from? From Richard Pryor. When you talk about a lot of jokes that he said, and a lot of people out there right now, if you look at their jokes, they got that from Richard Pryor. Now, the whole nigga stuff and the whole car shit, that is so one of the greatest lines. Look at all the stuff that happened back then in the 70s that's still going on today. You know what I mean? All the police brutality, everything, scared to get pulled over, getting shot this because you're reaching for your wallet, all this stuff, all these things, all Richard Pryor. You know what I mean? So that's why you have to give props to the guys who made it. So you may more relate to people like David Chappelle and all those things, but go back and listen, and you'll see the places where they got that stuff from. There's no doubt about it. They got it from Richard Pryor. One, if not the greatest, you know, you could say when he was live, he was the greatest of all time. There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Richard Pryor. That brings us to number 1. Thank you for everybody who has chilled with us this whole time. Chilled with us throughout the whole Microsoft update and everything else. Waited to get up here. I really do appreciate you. Thank you for being here with me. You know what I mean? Notice it's not normally the same stuff that we do. We're trying to have fun out here. We're trying to, you know, do good things and just have a good time. And laugh a little bit. Drink a little bit, laugh a little bit. Now, my number 1 comedian of all time, I just have to say that this person is just, to me personally, as I said, it's all about relatability. And at a time in my life when he came around, when he was there, you know, he made me proud to be a black man, you know, truly. And if I ever met him, and I would love to meet him. If I ever met him and I had a chance to say something to him, that would be the number 1 thing I would just say to him. I would shake his hand and say, thank you. Because at that time growing up, you didn't see black people on TV. The only black people you saw was Gary Coleman, Rerun, Dwayne. I didn't want to be Rerun. I didn't want to be Gary Coleman. I don't want to be none of them people. You know, that's who you seen. Lamont, Sanford and Son. I didn't want to be Lamont. I didn't want to be Rollo. Well, Rollo was cool though. You know, this person right here, you know, he truly made me proud to be a black person. and just means the world to me. You know what I mean? And he's just a great comedian. When you look at all the aspects of comedy, when you look at everything, movies, stand-up, TV, impressions, I don't think you can find anyone in the world, delivery, timing, writing, that does all of those things as good as this person. And that is why I have no choice but to make this person the greatest comedian alive and my #1 comedian in top 10 list of comedians all time.
I have this nightmare that I go to Hollywood and find out that Mr. T is a faggot. Really, and he be walking up to people going, "Hey boy, you look mighty cute in them jeans." Now come on over here and fuck me up the ass. Come on. I'm gonna bend over now. Hey boy, slow down. You'll mess around and come too fast. Maybe you get mad, I'll clench up my butt cheeks and rip your dick off. You know who'd be a funny faggot? Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton. Wouldn't they be funny faggots? If Ralph Cramden leaned out the window one day and said, Norton, pal, come on down. I want to show you something. Ha ha! Ralphie boy, what are you saying? I'm watching you. And I know you've been watching me, Norton. You watch me. I know. So, Ralph, where are you getting at? Norton, my friend, how would you like to fuck me up the ass? I know you want to fuck me, Norton. And you know that I know that you know that I know that you want to fuck me. Now, I'm going to bend over. And when I do, start fucking. Here I go. Way to go there, Ralphie boy. I kid the homosexuals a lot because they homosexuals. I fuck with everybody. I don't give a fuck. It's like I don't mean anything by it. You can hang out with a gay person. Guys don't feel, like alienate gay people because they're gay, because you can play tennis with a gay person. Really, just after the game, you say, "I'm gonna get a beer. What you gonna do?" "Think I'll go suck some nice dick." "Well, I'll see you later." Hanging out with you. Ladies say, because they don't want anything from you, you don't want anything from them. You can just hang out, you can be with them, it's fun. You can talk to them and all that bullshit, and then be hanging out with them. You know what's real scary about that? That new AIDS shit. AIDS is scary because it kills motherfuckers. AIDS. I ain't like the good old days when venereal disease was simple. In the good old days, you get gonorrhea, you go get a shot cleared right.
Oh God, what's that again?
Then they came out with herpes. You keep that shit forever like luggage. Now they got AIDS that just kills motherfuckers. I say, what's next? I guess you just put your dick in it and explode.
Oh my God, here.
Maybe I should see a doctor about it.
You think so?
Kills people. It petrifies me because girls be hanging out with them. And one night they can be in the club having fun with their gay friend and give them a little kiss, go home with their AIDS on their lips. With their husband, and like 5 years later, "Mr. Johnson, you have AIDS." He goes, "AIDS? I'm not a homosexual." "Sure, you're not a homosexual."
Listen, I almost died for y'all. Twice tonight. Twice. I have almost died. All right. But yeah, so silly when you hear him talk about AIDS, and this is the way it was, and people didn't know nothing about it. You know what I mean? So silly when you hear him talk those things. But listen, when we talk about the stuff that is timeless, Eddie Murphy is the greatest of all time. We're gonna listen a little bit more of Eddie Murphy. It's not over with Eddie, because she's number one. We gotta give him some more. Let's go with Eddie more. Eddie.
Michael Jackson, who can sing and is a good-looking guy, but ain't the most masculine fellow in the world. That's Michael's hooks, his sensitivity. As the women be saying, Michael's just so sensitive. They eat that shit up. Mike, no, too. He be using women in concerts. I see Mike walk up to girls on the stage in the audience. He say, "Is it alright if I come down there and sing to you?" And the women go, "Ah!" Then if you don't scream, Mike will get real sensitive and cry on your ass. If you hear that record, She's Out of My Life, Mike will go, my possession. In that land love needs expression, but I Tito, give me some tissue. Jermaine, stop teasing. You just say, yo, when Mike, I found my manager called me up and said, yo, man, Michael Jackson, man. I was like, so? You know, because I fucked Mike up, you know, right? I go 5, you know. Yeah, so Mike, but my manager said, you know, we don't know everything about Michael Jackson. He might be this bad motherfucker behind closed doors. He's a recluse, you know, behind closed doors. He might be.
He's a recluse. He's a recluse. Michael Jackson. He's a recluse.
What's your motherfucking problem, man? How come you keep fucking with me, huh? What's all the motherfucking joke? You don't like my clothes? What's your motherfucking problem? You don't like the motherfucking Jackson? I will bust your ass. Fuck that motherfucker. I'll moonwalk all up and down your ass. Mind your motherfucking business. I hear some motion. I'm gonna put this glove up your ass. I'll see you later. That's a dumb. I've been trying for 5 months to do the moonwalk, and I can't do the shit. This shit is the dumbest dance ever, because I can't do it. That's why I say it's stupid. But how do you do the moonwalk and ask a woman to dance and shit? Be at the party, hey baby, no, see you later. Moonwalk. It's some stupid shit. Michael can do that shit though. Michael's so famous. Michael went on television and everything he says, the public believes. Went on television and said, I don't have sex because of my religious beliefs, and the public believed it. I don't know, brothers like, get the fuck out of here. And white people going, that Michael's a special kind of guy. It's special.
Special.
I mean, it's good, clean, and wholesome. Y'all believe it? You know how I knew y'all believed it? Y'all didn't get mad when he took Brooke Shields to Grammys. Nobody white said shit. And Brooke Shields is the whitest woman in America. That's Miss America every year. Brooke, fuck who you see with the crown. Brooke, you look at white woman in the dictionary, get a picture of Brooke like this. She's white. And this nigga took it to Grammys, nobody said shit. If I took Brooke Shields to Grammys, y'all lose your mind. But y'all know Brooke would get fucked that night.
The greatest of all time. My top 10 to me, comedian. Top 10, number 1 comedian of all time, without a doubt. I dare anyone test me on this. Name me someone who's as good an actor, good at stand-up, good at making voices, who come up with impressions. Tell me Who's better than Eddie Murphy? I dare you to find someone better than that person right there. And you could say that, hey, he didn't have a lot of stand-ups. When you have two big stand-ups like he had back-to-back, there's no need to have any more stand-ups. You know, when you do two hit songs like that, you don't really have to make any other hit song. You don't have to make another song. Eddie Murphy is at the point in the top three people, really. But Eddie Murphy's at the point where you can't compare him to other comics. He can only be compared to himself. So for him to come back out there and do another comedy special after pulling off those two, there really isn't any higher he can go. The only place he can go is lower than those. So why do that? You have to just leave yourself right then, and that's it. You know, so, and I also music, Eddie, look, as Slope said, listen, the man can sing. He had music. When you just look at talent, come on, man. How are you not gonna say Eddie Murphy is there? I gotta go number one, without a doubt, Eddie Murphy. You know what I mean? He is definitely the greatest of all time. You know, I quote so much stuff from him in my normal life all the time. My cousin Jamel knew every line he ever said from any movie, anytime, and would insert that as anytime he got the opportunity, he would insert that as quick as he could. You know, but without a doubt, I love Eddie Murphy. There could be a lot of, as I said, other top 10 lists. There could be a lot of other people that you could have in your top 10 list. As I said, mostly when you deal with comedy, it's all about what you can relate to. You have to be able to relate to the jokes. And these people on my list are the people that I can relate to. And that's why they are there on my list. And that's who I think it is. Let's see. Alicia Keita says, I got to work in the AM. Got to catch you later, fam. Thank you for hanging with Alicia. We about out of here right now anyway. Thank you, AK, for coming by and stopping by and hanging out with us. You know what I mean? We do appreciate that. Thank you for everybody chilling out here. Ian Septon, Shanna Sapphires, everybody who came up in here. I really do appreciate it. I hope you do appreciate the top 10 list that I gave to you and stuff like that. Timo, everybody else up in this piece. And as I said, hopefully I'll be linking up with Phil. We could get something going on with this top 10 list. We have something else planned, dealing with Game of Thrones this week. Me, him, and LML will be doing that, hopefully. And hopefully with the top 10 list, we can go through it. Me and Phil get on his channel or whatever like that, or I get on my channel and we can just link up and we can go through our top 10 lists and maybe debate the people that we don't have exactly the same in the list. Because it doesn't matter where you have them. As long as you have them in the list, then you're just about agreeing. But the people we don't have the same, then we can put those people at the head and see exactly who we think. But as I said, you know, when it's all said and done, it is truly just who you relate to and everything else. There's nothing else that can determine it. It's so subjective. It's just what makes you laugh. And all these people that I put in there are people that make you laugh out loud funny. You know what I mean? I just think that that's what I tried to go on. People that they getting on stage, they're tearing that stage down, they're representing it. But when they reach the top 3, it gets so close to that point that when you get to the top 3, you have to start using other things. Then you have to start looking at TV, movies, and things like that. When you put everything combined, who's done better in TV? Who's made the better transition from stand-up to TV to movies than Eddie Murphy? Name one person that's made that transition better than him. I don't think that it's possible for you to name a person that did that transition better than him. He saved Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live was done. Now listen, there was other people there that did definitely had, but without a doubt, you know what I mean? He saved it. He was the one who did it. Timo says, yeah, like old Cat Williams would have been on my top 10. You know, listen, Cat Williams could be there. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I really wanted to put him in there. I really did. I looked around and I tried to put Cat Williams in there, but I don't have anyone that I could take out from him. Say I could take out Rodney Dangerfield for him. I can't, because Rodney Dangerfield did it for such a long time. Cat Williams was hot. You know, he's very funny, but he was hot. You know what I mean? It wasn't there for the strength. He was just hot, and he fell off. Not fell off, but not the same. You know what I mean? Rodney Dangerfield did that shit for as long as you can go until he died. You know what I mean? That's why I had to put him there. I don't know where I could put him. I can't put him above Bernie Mac. I can't put him above Louis C.K. There's not really any spot in the top 10 for Cat Williams. I think he was a hot guy, but I don't think anything else I can go there. You know what I mean? But when you look at Eddie Murphy, you look at everything else that he's done, just look at the career that the man's had. When you're talking about TV, stand-up, TV, movies, music. Who's better than Eddie Murphy? That is a genius walking amongst us right there. Come on. And that is why he is, without a doubt, my #1 greatest comedy person of all time. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's up. I have no choice but to put it like that. So I'm going to let you all go because work is in the morning. You know what I mean? So let me switch this screen up. Thank you for everyone out here chilling with me and hanging out with us all the time and everything else. And I have been drinking, and my eyes look like that the whole time during this thing. Fuck it. 2 tears in the bucket. Let's take it to the stage. Robin Harris, baby. This stays up the way it goes. So if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, please spread this across the realm, and please subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace. And stay sexy.